Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Check out our large assortment of logo merch and our lifestyle collection as well. Just head over to abvnetwork.com and click on shop. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. Finally, we are sponsored by the upcoming ABV Barrel Shop, a new liquor store experience coming to St. Louis, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop will serve as home to the ABV Network and will be owned and operated by Steve Akeley, Jim Fosnot, and Scott Creighton, a.k.a. the Barrel Buddies. To learn more about the investment opportunities in this new venture, listen to the ad at the end of this podcast. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we are going to make a list of 8 people from the world of bourbon that you have to know to be a true bourbon fan. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Danny Kennard, Jim Fosnot, and Tony Fry.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, everybody.
So ultimately, we are going to come up with 9, actually, for sure, because we are going to use the Jimmy Russell rule here. And the reason for that is, we all decided that, yes, the number one person we would, talk about would be Jimmy Russell. Again, 67 years in the business. This is unheard of. A master distiller that goes back, generations. Our grandfathers were drinking the whiskey that Jimmy Russell made. And here we are today, how many years later, and he's still the guy. So he feels like he'd be an automatic win. And that's not what we want, because there is an entertainment value to this too, to hear how it plays out. And we don't want it to be an automatic win. So out of respect for Jimmy, we're not even putting him in the contest. We know that he is the number one person you should know. So we will come up with a list of 8 other than Jimmy. We'll do that after the break. For right now, Jim said there's something he wanted to talk about, though. What is that, Jim?
So the other day, Heidi and I were out doing some shopping, and we stopped to have lunch, and we sat at the bar. And when we're at the bar, we both order our drinks to start off, and the bartender brought me my drink first. And then a few minutes later, brought Heidi her drink. Now, we both just ordered beers. So it wasn't like they had to go make a cocktail or whatever. And then later, when they brought out lunch, same thing. They served me first, and then they served Heidi. And to me, it just seemed, and I just want to know, am I old for thinking that that's wrong? Like that she should have been served first, as, being there with my wife, whatever, that you take care of just the way I grew up, kind of in the past. I used to bartend. There's not a chance when I used to bartend that I would have always taken care of the wife or the girlfriend first before I'm taking care of the guy. Is that just me being old fashioned and old, or is that something that you guys would kind of notice? It was Heidi noticed the same thing. She's like, that was just kind of odd, because it was that far apart when they're serving us that it was just noticeable.
Yeah. I mean, I'll jump in right away. It's wrong, not necessarily because of a male-female thing. It's because if 2 people are getting beers, you can bring them both out at the same time. Now, the meals could be, there's a reason why it happened, but again, they should be bringing them out the same. They shouldn't be bringing out one before the other, and it shouldn't be, well, the woman has to go first or the man. It should just be, hey, it's only 2 people. Can't we get both of these out at the same time? It's not a group of 40 here. It's a group of 2. Do better. That's what it would be, I would say.
Yeah, I think the beer thing was weird. Like, why can't you bring 2 beers at the same time? But the food thing probably depends on the kitchen, and I wouldn't have thought too much about the food, honestly. But the beer thing was weird.
Well, and I guess to step back, they also took my order first, which was weird. Like, again, if I'm sitting at a table, like, usually the waiter will take, the wife's order first. What else? It just seemed, maybe I'm old. Yeah. So it doesn't.
No, maybe the waitress like you, because there's a restaurant here Chris and I go to, and this old lady waitress is in love with him, and she touches him all the time, and she's always like, "Hi, sweetie, what can I get you?" And she fucking ignores me. But maybe she just likes you.
To Jim's point, I typical situation, because I tend to go out with 3 females. It's me and 3 females. My mother, my daughter, and my wife. And I do notice that typically they'll go to my mom first. I know, because I noticed this. I just in my mind, they go to my mom first, and then my daughter, and then my wife, and then me. That seems to be the order that they go. So it's some kind of unwritten rule or something like that. Maybe like the elder statesman, and then you go youngest to oldest. I'm not sure how that comes about, but I do notice that there's kind of an ebb and flow to a typical order thing where they're the ones making the call of who goes. So that's interesting that Jim says that. But yeah, typically that's how that does work. I've noticed just in general. What do you guys think about this, Tony or Danny?
Yeah, I've never really seen what Jim just described. I mean, if it's just two people, I think it should be brought out at the same time, because it's kind of awkward when one person is drinking or eating before the other, and it's just two people. It's super easy.
I would think so too.
I'll have to agree. I mean, because what's the other one supposed to do? Just sit there and look at the other one? I mean, it's just
There's absolutely no excuse on the beer thing at all.
Right.
Again, the lunch, they could say, hey, something happened, or that. I mean, they could give you an excuse, even though I don't think it should play out that way. But there could be some extenuating circumstances. But I think the beer thing is that should not happen like that. So, well, interesting. Maybe the person's new and can't carry multiple drinks. I always say I could never have a waiter job because I could never carry like a full tray of stuff. I mean, I would be spilling it. And
I was going to watch like Oktoberfest in Germany, and those guys.
Oh my gosh!
Those ladies got like
all those mugs. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I have no idea how they do it. Yeah.
No, none of this is a skill set that I have. Like restaurant work, not for me. Respect you all. I can't do it. Like I'm gonna be tripping, spilling. It's gonna be a hot mess. You're gonna.
I've seen McNew just walking down the street, all of a sudden just falls. It's like she got shot. She just falls.
That's because you mentioned the high heel.
I like how it's my fault.
It was your fault. I was fine until you said something. All this work, Steve.
Oh, sorry. I got my phone on. I don't normally have my phone on. I don't normally have my phone. I just turned it off. But the warden had surgery today, and I have to be available. And I thought if I put my phone on silent, sure enough, it'll be vibrant. I'll miss it, while I'm doing the show. So,
tornado warning.
Yeah, that was a tornado warning coming through on the phone there. So, but yeah, interesting. So, hopefully, no more of that nonsense. But if it does, it does. I have to be available. So, and if I have to leave a show, McNew, you're in charge.
I got it.
Okay. All right. Guess what, gang? It is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Jim this time. Jim, what do you got?
I've got some still 630 Maple Sunset Rally Point.
Okay. All right. I was decent. Could be enough to win. We'll see. McNew, what do you got?
I have some rare breed rye.
Rare breed rye. Okay. Nothing. No, Jim still got the lead. We didn't hear anything there. I think it was Mike Muffle got us again.
Mike Muffle again. It's a brand new bottle too. It should be good.
Mike Muffle messed up there. So it's like also they cut out. So it's Mike Muffle, which is a new character on the show. His name's Mike Muffle, and he sometimes blocks people's cork pops. So
is it Tim whose cork pop always cuts out?
Mine does a lot.
Lenny's does a lot.
Oh, is it Lenny's? One of them had like every time he does it, there's nothing.
Yeah, Jeremy does that a lot too, and then he gets mad. He blames me. Like, so I've taken to on the Bourbon Show. I put my hands up so he can see I'm not doing anything because he gets so mad at me. But I never did anything to him. I don't want to win the cork pop so bad. I'm got some system or something. So I've got 291, which is a personal favorite. I like what those guys are doing. This is their Colorado Rye Whiskey. So here we go. Yeah, not much there. Jim still has the lead. Tony, you're next.
Going to try this for the first time. It's a little something different. Bourbon's Bistro, Jason's Bourbon Eggnog.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I keep forgetting you're in Kentucky now, so you can get those type of things.
Yep. Here. Oh, jeez. No, this is good. Can't get this off.
Oh. He's trying. Oh,
That was
oh,
a
that
decent
Maybe.
pop, though. A lot
It
of
was
effort. It's
decent.
still a decent pop.
it was decent. I don't think he passed up Jim, though. Do you, McNew?
No, I think Jim took that one.
Okay, so Jim's got it. You know, the cool thing about that eggnog is it's so great. And Tony, did you have it before? Obviously, moving there this year, you've had access. But before this, were you ever there around eggnog time? Were you in?
Honestly, I don't think I've had eggnog since around 2008.
Uh huh.
So it's
what do you
been
think
a
of
long
that?
time.
What do you think of Jason's?
Let's see here.
Okay, he's trying it.
How much does he make?
A lot. He makes batches like every day when it's going big time. He just keeps making it still, so it's available.
That is damn good.
It is crazy good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Royce Neely had me when I was in Louisville, had me pick up 4 bottles of him before Thanksgiving. It said this will last him through Christmas. Then, no, it was gone. It was gone a week later. He drank 3 of the bottles, and his mom and dad, who was actually 4, drank 1 bottle. That was it. And it was gone.
This is really good. Yeah.
It's crazy, right? He needs to make that as a commercial product. Here's his rationale for not doing it. He told me, I went to the store to check out eggnog prices, and Evan Williams has a $7 eggnog. So I can't compete. This is going to be at least $55, maybe more than that when we're talking about adding in distributors and all that. And I was like, dude, you don't get in the whiskey business then, because they sell Old Crow for $7 for a liter. You can't use that as your excuse. You have a great product there. And he's like, maybe. So they're talking about doing it commercially, and I think it would be a huge thing for him. I think people.
Oh yeah, this is
people
good.
would line up to get that. Yeah.
Before the big boom, didn't he use some crazy whiskey in there?
George C. Stagg was the
Stag Nog.
Yeah, Stag Nog. Yep.
That's crazy to think how much
it is.
Stag went to eggnog.
Exactly. All right, Danny, what do you got there, man?
Old Granddad 114.
Okay, a classic.
Oh, it's going new bottle. Try and beat me.
Yep.
Nothing.
Mike
Muffle
Muffle.
came back.
Mike Muffle got him. Yeah, nothing there. Mike Muffle got him. So yes, typically those 114 bottles, the first pop is good. Then after that, they're not for some reason. You think they'd be great because they got a big.
Yeah, I know. And Danny had a brand new bottle. It should have sounded great.
Yeah.
It probably
Mike
did on
Muffle got
his
him.
end. We just didn't hear it.
Yeah. Well, cheers, gang.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
There's
Okay. We'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be working on those on our list. We got to come up with 8 people that you have to know in the world of bourbon other than Jimmy Russell. We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley of the ABV Network. Let's talk about the people who make this show happen. First up is Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Company founder Andy Lang started distilling as a hobby while serving his country as an elite Green Beret. Andy distilled all over the world during his time in the military and brought this passion back to him in the U.S. when he returned home. A visit to Leatherwood combines Andy Lang's unique distilled spirits and a museum of artifacts from his time serving the U.S. Share a drink with a fallen soldier at their bar where you can grab an acrylic bio off the wall that celebrates the individuals who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect his or her country. They will also ship their distilled spirits directly to you, so check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com. We are also sponsored by Moonshine University. This longtime partner for the ABV Network helps educate individuals looking to get into the distilled spirits business, service industry employees looking to expand their knowledge, and individuals simply wanting to know more about the process and history of the spirits industry. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at Moonshine University, and it's something I continuously draw upon and connect with fellow graduates. Check out their full listing of classes, including Executive Bourbon Steward certification, production classes, and more at moonshineuniversity.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at neelyfamilydistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky. All right, back to the show.
This is Freddie Mills, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about the 8 people of bourbon you need to know as a fan.
Yes, we are. If you skipped over the first half of the show, you missed out on the fact Jimmy Russell's not eligible because we know he would win. He is the number one person you should know. So knowing that, we're coming up with the top 8 after Jimmy. So that's the goal here. We can throw out names, and if we come up with more than 8, that's okay. Then we'll have a little bit of debate at the end, and we'll ultimately end this thing with our list of 8. So is there somebody you'd like to throw out? Somebody you should know?
I think even though we can't have Jimmy, we can definitely have Eddie Russell.
Should know Eddie Russell. Okay. I'm writing them down. I'll write down all names. I'm not striking anybody down. And if we end up more than 8, we'll just have to eliminate. So
I'd say Freddie Johnson.
Freddie Johnson. Yeah. Freddie Johnson.
I see your Freddie Johnson, and I raise you a Jim Rutledge.
Jim Rutledge.
Oh, Jim Rutledge is a good one.
Jim Rutledge for sure. Yeah, he's good. What about you?
I'm going to go Colonel E.H. Taylor.
Colonel E.H. Taylor.
That was on my list too, because I think there's a lot of guys that chase those Taylor bottles and they probably have no real idea. So I think you need to dive into his history. I agree.
Okay. What about Jim Beam? The fact you have to know a little bit about the guy. You have to know that he was a real person. He wasn't in the 1700s like a lot of these people and stuff like that. He was a 20th century individual. He was born in the 1800s, but really the bulk of his career was spent in the 20th century. And I think he died in 1947 or something like that. So, he had, an amazing career. So I think Jim Beam, the person, not just the brand, has to be one of those individuals you have to know.
Yep. I think the Shapiro brothers, you can count them as one unit. Shapiro brothers. You should know who they are. All right. Who else do you have to know? Here's one I think you have to know these days if you want to be running bourbon circles. And I think that's St. Louis's own Jackie Zykamp. I think she's a big enough deal. She touches on a lot of different things because she, of course, comes from the cocktail side of the business as a bartender. She's a master taster. She's coming out with her own products under Old Forester, whether we're talking about, the whiskey series that she's got, or, she has the other products that make cocktails. I think she's a big deal. I think she has to be someone that if you're really a bourbon fan, you have to know who she is.
What about Bill Samuels?
What's that?
What about Bill Samuels?
Bill Samuels, yes.
Yeah.
Samuels.
And Dr. Crow.
Yeah. Dr. Crow. What an amazing job he did. Not in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. Whole career in bourbon was spent in Kentucky and not in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. How's that possible? So many of the things that we do today are from Dr. Crow. And he's not in there. I don't understand. I really don't.
Is there any negative connotation with him that I don't know of? That
his whiskey's bottom shelf these days.
His brand got ruined, but I don't think he's a bad guy.
Yeah, that may be the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing that works against him is he doesn't have an advocate. That's, typically to get in, you need whoever. So of course it's Beam, and they have their own individuals that they want to get into the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame, whether it's Baker Beam or family members and stuff like that. So they've always pushed people from the organization, and Crow, which wasn't their brand initially, so they don't have anything invested in it. So bottom shelf. It's not like it's a flagship thing for them where they want it, and I guess it just hasn't been a priority. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
But speaking of Beam, we got to throw Fred No in there. You got to know who he is.
Fred No. I think you got to know who Fred No is.
Mm-hmm.
Fred No. Yeah, he's key.
Someone newer to the industry, but who's really mixing it up also, I think, Fawn Weaver.
Fawn Weaver.
Yes.
I don't know, Fawn Weaver. Okay. Anybody else?
I'm going to say you're in the bourbon bars. Jason Bronner.
Jason Bronner. I don't know who Jason Bronner is. He's a conduit between the bourbon drinker and the bourbon industry, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And if you've read anything of any substance, you got to know who Mike Veach is.
Mike Veach. He is the real deal, isn't he? I like the fact he's independent, He definitely does his own thing. So not in anybody's pocket, that's for sure. He does his own thing.
The other person is a good friend of yours, Steve, but to me, it's truly one of the most interesting classes you can ever go through. He has so much impact on bourbon that people don't realize would be Weebrink.
Yes. Yeah.
Andrew Weebrink. Okay.
We talk about how much flavor comes from the barrel, but people don't know that name. And the average bourbon person doesn't know that name, but they should.
Okay. All right. Anybody else we want to add to the discussion? We're always going to be leaving people out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole list of people we probably haven't named that deserve to be named,
Right.
but we're only picking 8, so I don't want to throw a bunch out there and have to pick
I
people
got
out,
one.
We got one. Okay.
Booker, no.
Booker, no.
Yeah.
All batch. Yep.
Yeah. He looms large still. So many decades after his passing. He's definitely one you got to know.
The other one I'll throw out there, but he never talks to anybody, so he's not very popular in the industry, but is Harlan Wheatley. Like, you're talking about Buffalo Trace, all the products they put out.
Yeah.
But he's probably the least known of the master distillers, that are out there currently. And he has the most popular brands underneath his portfolio.
It's kind of amazing, right? I mean, the face of that brand is not Hunter.
Harlan Wheatley.
Yeah. What's his first name? Harlan. Hunter. I did know a guy named Hunter Wheatley. That's the problem. That's where my brain got messed up there. I was a local police officer when I worked at the grocery store overnight. So there was a guy who used to come in, and it's Officer Hunter Wheatley. And then I got that stuck in my head. I forgot Harlan Wheatley for a second there. So,
but who is the face of Buffalo Trace?
It's Freddie Johnson.
Right.
Clearly.
Yeah, Freddie's root beer. You just think of Freddie Johnson.
Yeah. Well, you go there's people gathered around. You'll hear the buzz. Where's Freddie? Or if you see, God forbid, you see Freddie come walking in, whether he's going to his next door or whatever. People just want to. I don't. The poor guy almost needs a security detail to get through his job.
He needs an escort from the car to his job.
Right.
Poor guy.
Right. People don't want to leave him alone. I mean,
It's partially your fault, Steve. You're the one who got him elected to the Hall of Fame. So
I mean, it's a huge thing. So. Yeah, Freddie Johnson is amazing. So here's where we got 16 people. We got to get it down to 8. So we got to cut out half of our list.
Jeez.
And I just thought of 2 more I wanted to put on it, but
Me too.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. So, I'll make the call for taking Harlan Wheatley.
Steve's like, I'm
done now. I'm done now. I'll make the call to take Harlan up because I don't feel like you have to know him to be a bourbon fan, because I don't think most people know him, even a lot of true bourbon fans. So it's a weird thing. You should know him, and ultimately as you get into it. But out of the first 8, you have to know. I don't think he has to be in the first 8, because that's literally what we're talking about. You're trying to help educate someone. If someone's saying, "Hey, who are the people I truly need to know?" He wouldn't necessarily have to be in that first 8 to have a good conversation with a bourbon fan. So we can cut him out.
Yep.
Who else do we want to cut out? I can read what we got here.
Yeah, read us the list back, Steve.
So it's Eddie Russell, Freddie Johnson, Jim Rutledge, Colonel E.H. Taylor, Jim Beam, the Shapiro brothers, Jackie Zykan, Bill Samuels. I assume that's Junior.
Yes.
But Dr. Crow, Fred No, Fawn Weaver, Jason Bronner, Michael Veach, Andrew Weebrink, and Booker No. Who do we want to call out that list?
I want to know all these people. I mean,
they all need to be on there. Yeah.
As much as I love Bronner, I don't know if the average bourbon person needs to know Bronner.
Okay. I think that's okay.
I think that's a fair statement.
He made the top 16.
Once you're more involved in bourbon, you definitely need to know him. But
yeah,
probably fair.
Right. Okay.
I guess when I first was reading this, my list was everybody was alive, so I wasn't going historically.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so let's kick off unliving people.
Okay. So Jim Beam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
E.H. Taylor.
Colonel E.H. Taylor.
Yep.
Take him off. Okay. The Shapiro brothers. They're all gone.
Yep.
Okay. Booker. Ooh, that's a tough one, but okay. We got to make some cuts somewhere. All right.
When I read this, I was thinking like, who's alive now? I want to know.
Right. Okay, well, that's what we've got whittled it down to. So that still leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we only have to cut one more. So let's go through the list one more time. No, we only have to cut one person off of here. So Eddie Russell, Freddie Johnson, Jim Rutledge, Jackie Zykan, Bill Samuels Jr., Fred No, Fawn Weaver, Mike Veach, and Andrew Webrink. We got to cut one.
I would probably cut the one I put in there, Bill Samuels Jr.
Yeah, I think I would cut Bill Samuels because it's Rob going to the festivals. It's Rob signing the letters and cards.
Yeah.
I would cut Bill too.
Okay. So that's our 8. So our 8 looks like this: Eddie Russell, Freddie Johnson, Jim Rutledge, Jackie Zykan, Fred No, Fawn Weaver, Mike Veach, and Andrew Webrink. If you were helping a friend out that says, I want to know some of the key players in bourbon, this is the ones you'd say, hey, read up on these and find out what you can, and you'll have ability to have a conversation with bourbon fans. And I think that's a cool thing. So there you go. That's our list, and we're going to stick to it. And we'll be back tomorrow, of course, where we have a bracket challenge, and we come up with the number one person that you have to know after, of course, Jimmy Russell, because he's the number one. So it's actually maybe 1A or number 2, actually, because you got to know Jimmy for sure. So we'll wrap this show up by talking about where people can find us. Danny, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Danny Kennard.
All right, Tony.
You can find me on Instagram at Glass of Whiskey 86.
Fair enough. Jim.
You can find me on Facebook at Jim Fazat, or on Instagram at FazJim, FAZZJIM.
All right, McNew.
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got that company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the-network.
All right, great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least, at the top of the show, I mentioned investment opportunities at the new liquor store concept, the ABV Barrel Shop, being launched in 2022 by myself, Jim Fosnot, and Scott Creighton. We are crowdfunding some of the capital needed to open the store. Not only does it offer a return on your investment, but a lifetime of status and benefits at the store. Of course, this investment is a loan and involves a high degree of risk, which may not be suitable for all persons. Prospective investors should carefully evaluate the risk and merits of an investment, should confer with their own legal and financial advisors, and should be able to bear the risk of the loss of their investment before considering the investment described herein. If you would like more information, contact us via the under construction website at abvbarrelshop.com and fill out the form.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.